Luke, I am your father.
Dude, you realize that it's supposed to be no, I am your father, right?
No, that's not possible.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Guys, I have AP Gaines on with me today, the Coruscant Underworld Police Chief of the 69th Precinct. How you doing today, man?
I'm pretty good. The king of misquotes himself is here. If you are quoting movie lines accurately, you're not doing it properly, in my humble opinion. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, super happy too. So guys, we are actually continuing a discussion that we started over on AP Gaines's YouTube channel. So that video specifically will be linked in the video description, and then just a generalized link to his YouTube channel. So check out his other stuff. He's got different takes on stuff. He does a lot of collaborations. He's recently just had Calvin Awesome and I'll be all on there. So must watch stuff as always. Yeah, but we gotta keep talking about power creep and the like, my friend. You have to remind me where we started, where we left off in the last one.
We left off talking about a little bit of a potential sneaky changes with like upcoming R9s or maybe R10s, how they're going to change maybe speed, potency, tenacity, and stuff like that. Probably changes that are very important to know, but they haven't exactly revealed to us the nature of yet.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about like maybe some stat changes to the relics. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had the video out coming about potentially some of that stuff coming. We don't need to belabor the point though. A lot of people have already watched your side of the video. One of the things that you had mentioned that maybe you wanted to discuss a little bit, just within the same vein of like power creep and all of this stuff, is just the discussion of free to play versus pay to play, like pay to win, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. And I know that there is just so many shades of gray in all of that. Where would you say you'd fit on that continuum?
So one of the main attractions of my channel is the quote unquote Nikki Biggs free to play account. We like to hype ourselves up and say the greatest free to play account of all time. I'll let you guys make that distinction. It's my girlfriend's free to play account. That account's 100% free to play. I have my main account, which is my second main account. My main account died. I murdered it. It's I spent about $150 on that. I bought a hyperdrive bundle January of 2020 as a birthday present. Since then, I've spent like $40 getting Malik a day early, which was a terrible investment, and then like another $10 somewhere. So definitely not a Kraken. I'm not Cthulhu incarnate, but I technically can't claim free to play.
Oh, that's fair. And everyone's got their own little shades of gray. I know that over on the Escape podcast, Nev is always talking about if you spend $1, then it counts.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're not free to play. And I'm always like, it's a little bit harsh. I mean, there are some people who have spent $20 here and there. Like, if you spend $20 a year, are you really
Mm-hmm.
considered anything but free to play? Really, how much impact is that really making?
Not a ton. They actually classify me as a frog. I'm an amphibian. I'm neither a land based or aquatic because I mentioned one time that I spent like $10 because someone donated. I guess I'm a frog donation to play. Those guys over there classify me as that. So, I'm maybe a little special. My mom was right. I'm a special little baby boy.
You'll get this man some clicks on YouTube, guys. Click to play, maybe.
Pretty much, yes.
um, I mean, I didn't start. I was a dolphin for a long time. I'd spend maybe $50 a month ish. I wouldn't call that a whale because you can't buy a new character with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just enough to you buy a pack here and there. Stay on top of things. And then once I started creating content more and I started making a little bit and reinvesting in the channel, like now I whale out on one of my accounts. The other two are essentially free to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, buy a pack here and there, but. Yeah, I definitely am a little bit quick to play, just in terms of just like I, the second I stop making money, doing content, I'll have to stop spending money on this game. So,
That is
don't
the
stop
the
the clicks on
eternal
me either,
the
guys.
eternal balance that is spending money on a game. Make enough money, this could be a tax write-off. It could be quite beneficial for you long term to keep spending some money. I hear.
It's
Maybe you could
true.
write off your private jet that you bought that your wife was kind of upset about. That was definitely a good purchase on your behalf.
Yeah, I love my private jet. That's great. Private life, but no. You know, I actually did make this is like totally just totally tangential, but I'm actually a business owner. I own Prevail Corp.
Do you really?
LLC. Yeah, it's a real thing. It exists. It has. I even have a bank account attached to it with $100 in it. It's wonderful.
Oh, so it is for the whole content sphere. I thought this was like you named yourself Zareth Prevails because you have another business that does real businessman business stuff that was just called Prevail Inc. or something.
No,
Prevail
man.
LLC. That would be pretty. That was some good Zareth lore for you guys watching the video. Big Zareth fans. You can write his Wikipedia page now.
Yeah, man. Prevail Corp LLC. It's wonderful. I haven't made the transition to actually putting any of my funds through it or anything yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna be a thing. So, um, anyway, so you're you know limited spending on your stuff.
Very yes.
How what do you think? Like, what direction people? This has been a debate since the very start. Like, is like pay to win, is that hurting the game? Is the game unfriendly to free to play players? Just, what's your generalized take? I'm sure that we could both rant about it for an hour, but
Many hours. So
yeah.
here's the thing that not a lot of people realize, except for people like you and for me. It's different for us because most of what we do revolves around new stuff, updates to what's
Right.
coming out, new characters. But for the standard free to play player, because most of my audience is early to mid game, mostly free to play players. I have a couple of spenders, a couple of whales who just watch me for entertainment value over like farming guides and information and stuff like that. But like, I'll use Executor because it's a timely topic. People are like, should I completely rearrange my farming? I'm like 1,800,000. Like, should I completely throw all of the last 6 months of progress out the window because Executor is unbeatable? And I say, go into your Fleet Arena shard. How many maxed out executors do you see day one? They're like, I have none. I'm like, okay, well, how many 6-star negotiators and malevolences do you see? And they're like, well, there's like a 5-star malevolence and negotiator. But I'm like, these characters don't really affect you. So I think more so it's like this perception of like there's so much that you can't have, but people don't realize that for most players, like I'd say 60% of the players who play this game, this stuff is not going to affect them for years to come. So it's not necessarily the end of the world, but for me it sucks. I can't spend a bunch of money. I'm a very poor college student, so when I can't make executor videos, I definitely feel the hurt a little bit. But I don't think all these new crazy toys are the end of the world for free to play and stuff like that. But they definitely upset me sometimes. Some decisions they've made are a little weird.
Well, I'll say this. So I think that CG has actually done a lot of really impressive things with their model of like it being able to there are a lot of games that you can't get certain characters
Mm-hmm.
because they're just behind a paywall. You have to spend dollars. It's not just like in-game currency like crystals like we have. It's literally if you don't spend $100 or whatever it is, you
Mm-hmm.
just don't get it. And so at right now, even Executor, even Kenobi, even Lord Vader, when he does come out, if you're crafty with your account, like we have End All Be All, who is essentially a free to play player, Calvin Awesome, who is free to play, and I don't know if they're gonna get Lord Vader. I don't remember what, but they both have Executor for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll get Lord Vader soon enough. Like you can do it as a free to play. It's a lot harder, but
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's a lot to be said about CG like making it worthwhile for people to whale while other people who are free to play can still engage in meaningful ways.
Absolutely. I think the biggest issue is for players who've been playing for years and years, because for most players, these players are in relatively new shards, less than 3 years old. The majority of the players have not been day one players. Where it really affects is like you're a 7, 8 million GP player, you're free to play, and then something you can't beat comes out, and you also don't spend money. So you are with these people who have been there, who spend money. That's where it really affects you because they have the backbone to make it reasonable to spend $500 $1,000 on a new ship or a new GL. So those are the players who suffer the most, and I really feel for them. But I think Capital Games has done a relatively good job of kind of saying, you can have this toy for a couple of months exclusive, and then we'll start to shovel it out to the poor people. But there are definitely some people up there who've been playing for a while who feel the hurt. Absolutely.
Well, and you're absolutely right. I mean, so I in general like their model. I would say that there's any number of things that I could nitpick or
Yeah.
not even nitpick. I'm just like generally like, oh,
Nothing's
that's a
perfect.
little annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I swear, dude, that I think the most annoying thing that just recently happened. And this is hashtag whale problems, but so like Razor Crest, they're like, all right, players can have all the way up to 70 out of 100 shards of Razor Crest
Hmm.
for free. If they've been diligent in conquest, if they've done all the red boxes and everything,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then they're like, oh hey, like magically there's a 30 shard you know thing that costs $30 for Razor Crest. Like, buy this pack and get your
It's
seven
funny how
star
that
Razor
works
Crest.
out, you know?
Yeah, it was magical, and I was like, oh cool. Like, even though I'm not going to use it, I'll have it available just in case, just because maybe it's going to be like kind of siphoned out and harder to get those last 30 shards. And then just like a little bit later, CG's like, oh hey, we're actually going to make it a galactic chase for a full week, and it's going to be the easiest thing ever to get 30 shards for
Yeah.
anyone. And I was like, cool, so I'll have some shard store currency. That'll be nice.
I think the worst one is for the life of me, I can't remember who said this happened to them. I think it was a content creator. Hopefully it wasn't you. That'll make me look like a fake fan. But someone said they elected to not get cat shards in favor of, or they elected to get cat shards, or no, they elected to not get cat shards, to get Razor Crest shards, to
Oh
get them at seven
no.
stars, and then the Galactic Chase came out, and then they didn't have cat for day one, and now it's been who knows how long since Conquest came out, and they're stuck with a 7-star Razor Crest. They're not going for Executor, and they don't have cat, but they do have the new Kenobi, and they're just completely lost. And I feel like in those specific situations, some people just get messed up by maybe a little bit of a sneaky timing on Capital Games part that catches people off guard. But it's not a perfect game.
Uh, you're right. I mean, and honestly, like, so there are absolutely valid complaints here and there. You're gonna have that in a game
Yeah.
like this. I also think that if you've been playing for any number of amount of time, like you have to, unless you just want to hurt yourself mentally, you have to come to peace with the fact that they're trying to make money off of you.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to make some money, and be okay with at least some of that concept. I don't know. One thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, though. So I'm at like 8.38, maybe I'm like 8.5 now that we have Executor. Now it's like a million or 100,000 GP or whatever it is. But I'm at a certain level in Division 1, and there are some people who are in the Division 1 who are like 10 million, and
Yeah.
they've spent tens of $1,000s more than me, like literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on this game, and I'm nowhere approaching that level. Like, I could never get matched up with like Arnold because he has all the relics, and I
Hmm.
can't afford relic 7 on everyone.
Yeah.
So there's even within like the whale variety and Kraken, like there's gradients, and I can't imagine. Like, I know I did a video recently where someone was saying, um, like, I just wanted to quit because I saw all these rows of relic characters. Like, you had all these characters relic. I was doing like a team compositions for 3v3 or 5v5 something,
Hmm.
and they're like, man, I could never get that many relics, and I'm like, man, I could never get that many relic 7s.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about the spread of the power? Like, is that gonna impact us negatively long term?
I mean, it's so drastic in some situations, like pre realignment of divisions. I mean, Division 1 was like bigger. The gap was bigger than like Division 2 to 11. It was massive. It was like, what was Division 1 was like 4 million. It was like 5 million plus. I don't even remember at this point. I feel like the change has just become a part of my life. So even back then, there was a crazy. They did it a little bit better. They sharpened the division, so it was there. But I mean, I this is gonna seem like a weird thing, but I know nothing about Marvel Strike Force. I went into a random Marvel Strike Force stream on Twitch with like 10 viewers, and I was just like, "Yo, what's going on? Explain this game to me. I play Swago. Is it similar?" And they're like, the game is so massive that unless you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not going to have this stuff literally ever. Like, there is no conceivable timeline where you can have all this stuff. And I'm like, that sounds like a way worse Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, because, there was a time where I didn't think I would have relic characters or relic sevens or relic eights. And now I have those things. And now I'm kind of in a similar situation where, like, I'm not going to have multiple galactic legends. It's taken me like almost 2 months to iron out like the last 3 requirements for Kenobi. Like, this was awful. And then I talked to people who were like, yo, I'm really scared. What happens when I get to level 70? Like, who do I start farming? The game is so massive at this point because it existed for so long that, no one really understands how the people above them or below them are really feeling if they haven't been there in a while. And I feel like Capital Games is kind of at the point, like we talked about. I can't even remember at this point if it was my video or your video. We talked about like they do their test accounts on like maxed out accounts, and that's why Executor kind of felt weird with like weaker characters beating it. I feel like everyone's just so disconnected from the other like microsphere that like it's hard to understand everything. And from a game development perspective, I think it's going to cause a lot of problems because they're not thinking about how does this change affect 500K players, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 11 million players. So I definitely think there's going to be problems. Sorry for talking so long. That was like a gigantic anecdote.
Oh no, I mean I go for it myself. The gigantic anecdotes. You're good, man.
It's a
No, I
staple.
mean, and I think you're right though. Like it's hard to like everyone's got so much going on different levels. Like I've got 3 accounts and I still don't feel like I have a perfect understanding of what play is like for a lot of different groups because my alt is pretty competitive GAC wise, but I don't do anything in arena for it because I hate arena climbs anyways.
Awful.
And
I
like
just go in and leave.
yeah,
Even on my main.
my payout is in 6 minutes, and I used to have 2 places to climb, and I'm just gonna get like ninth place right
Yeah.
now because I'm like whatever. Let's make a video instead, and that's on my main. On my alt, I just log in and get back out. Like in some ways, it's great when I lose a match on my alt or my alt my prevail man one, the little one. When I lose a match. In some ways, it's a relief because then I don't have to. I'm always trying for top 10 there, so you have to do all the feats, and I'm like, this
Saves
is
you so much
awesome.
time.
I don't have to do the arena feats now. Like I can just not win 18 arena battles with these accounts that I don't care about winning in arena. But that does a little bit disconnect me from the players who are at the 5.4 million GP range who are trying in arena because they really want those crystals and faster progression. I can't quite get there. So, uh, you know,
Yeah, that
there's just
disconnect is something that not a lot of people acknowledge. Like most of my videos, I tend to keep around the very early and mid game because I've been there, I've done that. I try to avoid, like, I don't make videos on like what you make videos on, like how to counter these ending, because I have no idea. Like you would tell instantaneously that it's so disingenuous if I was like, oh, here's how you counter this galactic legend with this galactic legend. By the way, I have none of them, nor have I ever used them. So I feel like everyone's just so disconnected that no one really truly understands anywhere. And that hopefully doesn't create too many problems. But you're absolutely right. Like if you're not engaged, if you're not in the trenches, even if you're there, even if you're at the battlefield, you're not in the trenches, it's so hard to understand what these players are going through at all the different levels.
well, it is. It really is. And everyone's got their own priorities too. I mean, we talked in the past video about expectations of what you want. And some people are like, I just want to be able to interact in all the different game modes. And I'm like, I could like, if I could just have someone play every other game mode and I just do GAC, I'd probably be good with that. Frankly, I just do that on like 9 accounts,
Yeah,
maybe not 9, but like that's what's interesting to me is GAC, and the rest is like leg day. I know Calvin
exactly.
talks about that, like
I
you know,
love leg day. I chest day is what I can't do. Yeah, you see me under a bench press, man.
nice.
It's quite pathetic. But yeah, I totally feel you. There's a lot of tedious stuff like GCs, like even now the ships, like give me a break, man. I don't have the maxed out Relic 7 Rebels to do the red crate on that GC. I'm just like, this is just a chore. Some events where I have maxed out Night Sisters, but I'm like, oh, I might as well get my 14 shards of Night Sister Spirit. Like that's the stuff that I don't know. I wish they would change. And now we don't even have Conquest. I mean, I feel like this game has for a long time has been just Grand Arena, and then when Grand Arena's not there, it's I feel like SpongeBob with his 3 friends, Napkin, Penny, and Chip, and they're gone, and it's really sad, and I cry, and then I watch
Yeah,
Zareth videos, and I feel better.
nice. You watch like the first 3 seconds of them.
I just listened for the movie quote, and I said I've
Nice.
never seen that movie. Lame. I'm gonna go watch an end all be all video.
Yeah, that sucked. Yep.
God forbid you watch a
not
Calvin
not worth
Awesome,
watching.
the undergeared batch or the badly geared batch. Ugh,
Yeah,
disgusting. Calvin Awesome tried to convince me that mods were good. What a loser. Lame.
dude, I watched that video and I was like, so he doesn't think mods are good? Like you played the devil's advocate almost too well on in that video. I was like, um,
You see how I clickbait everyone at the beginning? It was just the clip of him saying, "You know what? You might be right. I think I lost."
right.
And then a lot of people got upset. I got a lot of pushback. I do a lot of sarcastic videos like that. I get a lot of pushback because people don't actually watch the video. They just look at the thumbnail, watch the first 3 seconds, and don't catch on. But no, I think mods are good. I just don't like them. There's a difference.
Well, oh yeah. I mean, they're the ultimate leg day.
Oh yeah,
Honestly, like
yeah,
you enjoy the rest of the game a lot more if you have really great mods and they're set. But
yeah,
it's like, do I really have to spend all these hours? I don't
yeah.
really want to.
They're like the hours that the Olympians put in to become the Olympians, and it's awesome to be an Olympian, but it sucks to start becoming an Olympian. And I just don't have the mental fortitude to become that Olympian. And so I prefer to be a beer league basketball player than an Olympian in my GACs.
Dude,
Just mess around a little bit.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I used to swim in high school, and
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't. It was fun enough, but you swim like 4 hours a day, even in high school. You have
Yeah.
morning and it's like Olympians do way more than that. I'm like, you just stare at the bottom of a pool your entire life. How boring is that? Horrible.
Yeah.
But then they get gold medals, and then they
And then
swim,
it's all worth it.
and then they stare at the bottom of a pool again. Like it's
You got to
madness.
really love it. That's why
You do.
people like Calvin and Fatal, where they're like really into it. I'm like, those people who just like really like something that most people don't like, and it makes them like that tier above in terms of certain aspects of the game. Like that's what you want to go for. You want to hope that you enjoy the hard work. I just it's not for me.
I mean, it's not for everyone. I mean, if it was for everyone, no one would watch our videos anyways, right? I mean,
Exactly. Well, no one watches my videos because I'm so awful, but yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
whatever, man. You focus on other parts of the game anyways. But that being said, we're about out of time. What what secrets do you have that you want to divulge to the Prevails community here?
Um, what's the
All of the
average
juicy ones.
give me a quick description of the average demographic, because I have so many insights that apply for various points of not only your career in Swago but just life in general. I want to see what kind of audience am I speaking to. How would you best describe your community in a couple of short, maybe a short sentence? How would you describe them?
I mean, they're prevailing, right?
Mm.
Like they're trying to prevail. So, you know, or they're people who just like movie quotes. I can't tell which one
you
at this
haven't
point.
you haven't
Indistinguishable.
if your audience is really Swago players, or if it's really just like movie fanatics who stop on by for the first couple of seconds, you haven't really figured that out yet.
It's a mystery to me.
It's the
Baffling.
indie cinema crowd. But I'd say my piece of advice is, you know, oftentimes my mom, when I was born, I tell this story a lot. She looked at me and she said, AP Gaines, sometimes you won't prevail. But you got to keep your head up. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep working at your craft. Sprinkle in a little bit of fun, and it'll all be okay. And I replied, wah, because obviously I didn't speak English. I was a couple seconds old, but that message always lived with me. And I think that's what I would like to relate to your community. You're not always going to prevail, but, in all things, AP Gaines memes.
That's good, man. That's good. And 69 prevails regardless. So,
Exactly. Because it's the funny number, and the funny number prevails.
I actually that's that I got 69th two different times in
I get
GAC. Like,
screenshots every time. Arnold gets it, Cubs gets it, you get everyone's like, yo, my favorite YouTuber got 69th place at GAC. I'm like, yes.
nice. Yeah. Useful, man. It's a useful number. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. If you're watching still, thank you, and please go click on AP Gaines, give him a sub on YouTube. And that being said, man, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Hopefully your audience can hop down in the comment section and identify how many times I changed my outfit during this video, because it was a little bit too much at some times. So let's see if you guys were paying attention. I'll see you in the comment section.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, 69 prevails.